Wind your waist, dip it low, pop your pussy, come on show your goodies, dip it low, dip it low, dip it low, dip it low. Wind your waist, girl, dip it low, pop your pussy, make it show, drip on me, come on.
What's up, guys? My name's DRAH, and this is my first ever album review video. The album we listened to, or I listened to, where am I looking? The album I listened to is Beloved. It is a Dave East Styles P collab album, and I mean, I listened to it in two different settings, so I'm gonna give it two different ratings, and I'm just gonna give my opinion on the entire album as well as each track. All right, so Dave East, let's talk about Dave East. Dave East is someone that I listened to, and right away I became a fan. I was a fan when he first came on the scene, and a lot of the people around me were like, oh nah, he's whatever, Dave East. And I was like, no, this guy, I could tell this guy's gonna make it. Like his bars, his energy, his vibe, everything just screamed mogul, you know what I'm saying? So I'm a big fan of Dave East. Styles P is someone that I've heard of before, and I didn't really listen to though. Not because I didn't like his music or anything. It's kind of a Styles P introduction for me. I have the Dave East bias going into this, but I have the Styles P refresher. So they kind of balanced out each other while I was listening to this. I wasn't like, oh, this is all so good because it's Dave East, because Styles P was kind of, new to me, and I really had to take him in and decide if I like him and how he spits and everything. And he spits. He's got bars, and he did a really good job, and they both did a really good job with this collab album. Let's talk about the first song, Beloved. The first introduction here with the back and forth, to me, it was mediocre. Wasn't a very good introduction to the album, but it wasn't a bad song. It wasn't something I was like, oh, I don't want to listen to this. It was decent. It was a decent song. And I gave it a 5 out of 10. I just thought it was mediocre. It was decent. It was a slow introduction to the album. But I mean, you got to start somewhere, and starting out mediocre and then getting good, which it did, is a good way to structure your album. Then they went into It's Lit, which I gave a 9 out of 10. I really liked it, but for me, it wasn't playlist worthy. Just the way it was mixed and the instrumental and the lyrics, to me, just like exploded perfectly right after Beloved. I didn't like it enough to put it on a playlist, but I did give it a 9 out of 10. It's a solid track. And then it went into For All My Niggas. Gave that one a 6 out of 10. I just thought the beat was lacking. I feel like, the mix was good and the lyrics were good. I just didn't like the beat so much. So it kind of scored lower for me. And it kind of mellowed out the first two tracks, being like mediocre to like really good, and then to like, a little bit better than mediocre, but not really good. Like I said, album structure here is very good. And by this point, Styles P to me was like, I was like, okay, this guy's dope. Then Shout Out My Hood came on, and I gave this a 9 out of 10. I thought this was an almost perfect song. It was really, really good. I was really engaged in this one, and it just pulled me in a way that I got excited again. Like I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. Then we went into Don't Cross Me, and I gave that perfect score, 10 out of 10. This is my favorite track on the album, Don't Cross Me. It's just my vibe. Mix was good, beat was good, lyrics were good, and it really hit me personally, the lyrics and just the mood of it and everything. Then we got into Exotic Shit, which I gave a 9 out of 10, and I also put this one on my playlist. Another dope track, good feel. I thought the beat wasn't as good as the Don't Cross Me beat, but it was up there, which goes into the way the whole album is structured again. And I feel like, yeah, it started off mediocre and then it really just started to get really good. And I started to like the album even more by this point. Up next was Do You Know What Time It Is? I didn't really like the beat and the lyrics were kind of lacking to me. This one was like, it all of a sudden the album dropped. They put it in the right place, going into closer to the end of the album. This was like mid-end album. Putting this after pretty much Don't Cross Me and Exotic Shit, I scored it low, 5 out of 10. It was back to mediocre, but I mean the lyrics to me just didn't really punch as much, and the beat was meh. After that was Cut From a Different Cloth, which I thought was another mediocre track, 5 out of 10. The beat, the lyrics, the mix, it was all just, it was like, okay, just another kind. It was better than Do You Know What Time It Is, but it wasn't like that much better. It was just another, solid track to get by into the next one, which was Rare Breed. Now, Rare Breed, I gave a 9 out of 10. I thought this one was a good pick-me-up after the other two. So the structure was like mediocre to like dope to like, let's just throw this. It kind of felt like, like a filler song into like an average song into Rare Breed, which was back up top again, 9 out of 10. So I feel like it was good that they did that, because if they had put Rare Breed after Exotic Shit, then the album would have just fell completely. Not that it was bad, but it would have just kind of like faded off, whereas putting Rare Breed next was like the perfect choice. Then it went into We Got Everything. And this track, I gave a 4 out of 10. I really didn't like this track. It was just kind of like a skippable track to me. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't on par with the rest of the album. I feel like We Got Everything just didn't belong on the album. It could have been a 12-song album here. I just wasn't engaged, to be honest, and compared to the other songs, and especially coming after Rare Breed, it just didn't punch at all. Then we go into In the Jungle, and this one I put on my playlist, and Styles P really caught my attention on this one. I thought his verse was dope, and I gave this track a 9 out of 10. On to Thoughts and Models, which I gave a 6 out of 10. I just thought the beat was really lacking on this one. The lyrics and the mix was cool, but the beat was really, really lacking on this one. It just didn't mix well with the lyrics and the vibe. I feel like a better beat could have been chosen for Thoughts and Models. Then we go into the last track, Load My Gun, which I gave an 8 out of 10. And I feel like it was a good track to end off. It didn't really punch, to be like, ooh, last song banger, but it was definitely like okay, yeah, I'm glad that I made it to the end and heard Load My Gun, because that was definitely a dope track. I mean, the whole album is dope. Like, don't get me wrong, it's dope. Except for that one track, We Got Everything, which I honestly feel like the album could have done without that one track. It could have been a 12-song album and been a lot better. I averaged it out, and I'm giving this album, beloved Davies Styles P, beloved album, I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would be like on repeat, you know what I mean? But this one, not so much. I added 3 songs from it onto my playlist, which were Don't Cross Me, In the Jungle, and Exotic Shit, my 3 favorite songs on the album. I mean, dope album, good introduction to Styles P for me. And Davies, obviously, he did his thing. Wasn't his best work, but it was better than most collab albums that come out. I took the album out with me. I basically played it through and let each song play while I was distracted, and decided if it was good or if it was bad. Just that's my rating for this, good or bad. So I had the album on shuffle. I didn't listen to it piece by piece. I just had it on shuffle. And most songs that came on, or almost all the songs that came on, were good enough to vibe to and just, do your thing and, on the go. This is what I'm rating. This is the on the go score. Most of the tracks that came on, I wasn't bothered. Now, obviously, We Got Everything came on and I wanted to turn it off. So I rated that bad. And Cut From a Different Cloth, also came on, and that one too, I just kind of didn't really want to hear it while I was on the go, so I rated that one bad. So the on the go score for this album, there's 13 tracks. I give it an 11 out of 13 because 11 of the tracks I didn't mind listening to while I was distracted or busy. If you just want to listen to it while you're on the go, you will not be disappointed. Again, 2 tracks I didn't really, want to continue listening to, but I mean, 11 tracks out of 13 tracks, I mean, it's not noticeable. They'll come on and they'll come off and you won't even notice. With that, this is my first ever album review, and I don't really know if I did a good job or not. I'm not really sure what the standards for this thing is. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Peace. God bless.